like and subscribe, and leave a comment below. Stellar Outlaws, the power grab. The flickering red emergency lights barely illuminate the crumbling space station, casting fleeting shadows as the structure groans around them, hungry for the power it requires. The sharp, repetitive screeches of the klaxons fills the air, underscored by the cold, dispassionate voice of the station's AI. Station power critical. Evacuation protocols initiated. The metallic groan of the failing space station intensifies the sense of urgency as its systems falter. Amid the destruction, Captain B.N.Rocker emerges with her sharp gaze cutting through the gloom. She's flanked by her crew, Rain, with blaster in hand, ever ready for action. Kale, the nervous tech expert. Vera, the crew's communications and intelligence specialist. Cool and calculating. Torin, the crew's muscle and tactical expert, silent but watchful. And Blitz, their hotshot pilot. Zara grips the prize, or spoils if you will, the zero-point power energy pod, glowing with a soft light, the lifeblood of the space station and the key to their escape. Kale glances nervously at the pod as he pants out, "We really did it, didn't we?" Rain, with her finger brushing her blaster trigger with excitement, shoots him a wicked grin. Yeah, but the fun part is just about to get started. The crew turns a corner and rushes into the dimly lit docking bay where their beloved ship, the Void Runner, waits for them. Relief flickers in their eyes for just a moment until they see the row of station security forces blocking the way. Zara's face hardens. "No easy way out," she mutters. Rain raises her blaster with an eager glint in her eye. "Guess we're making our own exit then." Tension rises as the crew realizes this heist isn't over yet. There's no clean escape, no time for hesitation, just the promise of a fight and the slim hope of survival. "Let's move." Zara's voice cuts through the din as the crew braces for the showdown. The second Rain hears the command, she doesn't hesitate. With a devilish grin, she charged forward like a force of nature. "Guess we're doing this the hard way," she shouts over her shoulder, already firing the first shots. As blaster bolts light up the corridor, Zara shoves the pod into Kale's arms, clutching the glowing pod. It's always the hard way, as he ducks behind a storage crate, wincing as a stray shot ricochets off the bulkhead near him, bouncing off the floor, close to his crotch. Vera, crouched beside Kale, quickly assesses the situation. "We need a distraction or we'll be pinned down here," she says. Her eyes lock onto Kale, who immediately knows what she's thinking. "Right," he mutters, fumbling for a small remote from his toolkit. His fingers tremble slightly as he pulls up the detonator interface. "I've got something for that." With a quick tap, Kale sends a signal to a pre-planted explosive in a nearby maintenance corridor. The thud of the explosion reverberates through the station, shaking the floor beneath their feet and sending chunks of debris flying. The explosion draws the attention of several guards who rush toward the blast, barking orders into their comms. "Nice one," Vera calls, but her relief is short-lived. The distraction pulls some of the security away, but not enough. More guards press forward, closing in fast, and the path to the Void Runner is still blocked. Rain barely pauses between shots, glancing at Zara. "We can't blast our way through all of them, Cap. Do you have another bright idea?" Torin crouches low, with his eyes scanning every corner, analyzing every escape route. Suddenly, his sharp instincts pick up a detail. "The airlock," he says. "The guards left it open. There's a clear path." Zara doesn't hesitate. "We're not getting to the Void Runner. Head for the airlock," she orders, already signaling the crew to move. Rain offers a quick mocking salute, still firing as she retreats. Finally, a choice made. Kale darts after her, clutching the glowing pod tightly. "This better work," he mutters under his breath, legs pumping as he follows the others toward the open airlock. Behind them, the guards begin to reorganize, realizing what the crew is attempting. Blaster fire intensifies as they close the distance, with the crackling energy bolts scorching the walls around them. The station groans again, with another system shorting out in the chaos they've left in their wake. Zara throws one last glance at their ship, now completely unreachable, and clenches her jaw. She knows they're not out of this yet, but the airlock is their best shot. "Move fast and stay close," she orders, leading them into the unknown. The crew sprints for the airlock, with every step forward feeling like a micro-victory. They barrel through the hatch, breathing heavily, but the sight that greets them on the other side forces them to skid to a halt. Zara yells out, "Looks like we got lucky. It's an Imperial fleet destroyer. Quick, get on board." Wait. Blitz, the pilot, narrows his eyes as his gaze sweeps over the sleek metallic walls, the minimalist design of the control panels, and the subtle hum of the still active systems. This is not your average destroyer. His voice trails off in awe. This is something else. The usual bulk and simplicity of the Imperial ships are nowhere to be seen. Instead, everything here is streamlined, efficient, almost futuristic compared to the standard cookie-cutter fleet ship. Kale pulls up the sensor readouts, glancing at the ship's energy signatures as his brows furrow. It's like they've been experimenting with some next-gen tech, or this is some kind of alien hybrid, he mutters, with the glow of the readings reflecting off his wide eyes. The power output, it's off the charts. My God, and it's only running on backup auxiliary power at the moment. Zara steps forward, processing the situation. What we've stumbled upon isn't just any Imperial destroyer, it's something more, a prototype, maybe an experimental ship. Whatever it is, it's our only shot of escape. She turns to Blitz. "If you can get this thing running, we might have a chance to slip away." Blitz doesn't need to be told twice. He nods, already moving toward the nearest ladder that leads to the bridge, but before he can take more than a few steps, Rain steps in front of him, with her blaster still glowing red-hot from the firefight and a wry grin on her face. "Hold up, you're not going in there alone." Blitz raises an eyebrow. "I'm fine on my own." "Yeah, sure. But if you run into more of those guards, you're gonna need someone to watch your back," Rain says, cracking her knuckles, clearly not taking no for an answer. "Besides, this place is crawling with imps." Zara gives a quick nod, already focusing on the rest of the crew. "Go with him. The rest of us will see if we can secure the rest of the ship." With a quick exchange of determined looks, Blitz and Rain disappear up the ladder, heading for the bridge. The crew wastes no time splitting up. Blitz and Rain dash toward the bridge. Behind them, Kale and Torin peel off to the engine room, Kale's eyes already scanning the walls for access panels, while Torin keeps a sharp lookout for any threats. Meanwhile, Vera stays back near the airlock, tapping into the station's comms. Her fingers fly across the interface as she listens to the security chatter, feeding real-time updates to the team. They're sweeping the lower decks as they approach our last known position. "You have a few minutes before we have company," she reports. Meanwhile, Blitz and Rain make it to the bridge, and the doors slide open with a faint hiss. Blitz's jaw drops as they step inside. The control center of the destroyer is a sleek, high-tech marvel. The interface glows with unfamiliar symbols and advanced holographic displays that stretch across the room. "This is like flying a starship of the future," Blitz whispers as his hands hover over the controls, already working to decipher the system. He slides into the pilot's chair, bringing up diagnostic readings, navigation systems, and power grids. "I can get this thing moving," he mutters to himself, half in disbelief, "but it's gonna take a minute to get all this online." Rain, standing near the entrance, keeps her blaster raised, her back pressed to the wall. "Better make it quick," she replies. "I've got a bad feeling they're about to crash the party." Down below, Kale pulls open an access panel, his face bathed in the glow of the ship's power systems. As he scans the readings, "This ship is running only on auxiliary power," he says through the comms. The tone of disbelief was clear in his voice. "It's as if it's been prepped to be mothballed, but the tech here, it's light years ahead of anything we've ever seen." He scratched his head. "This does not make sense." Torin stands guard nearby with his weapon ready, his eyes constantly sweeping the corridors for any approaching threats. "Can you get the core online?" he asks. Kale shakes his head slightly as he continues working. "Maybe, but it'll take time. I'll have to bypass the auxiliary systems, and with how advanced this tech is, it's like trying to hotwire a ship that's smarter than I am." Up in the bridge, Blitz calls out through the comms. "I've got partial control here, but I need power to the main engines. Kale, how's it looking?" Kale huffs into the mic. "Working on it. This ship's tech is tied into systems I've never even heard of before. It's gonna take more than duct tape to get this beauty running." Zara coordinates the team. Hold your positions until Blitz gets the ship operational. Vera, any updates? Vera's voice breaks over the comms. We've got movement on the lower decks. Security teams are starting a sweep. They'll be here soon. Zara knows they're running out of time. Blitz, you need to get us moving, as in now. On the bridge, time is running out, and Blitz's hands race across the controls, with his focus laser sharp as he tries to coax the advanced ship back to life. All they can do is hold their ground and pray the destroyer systems respond before the station's forces do. Kale says, "Wow, just wow, I found something," as he searches the display. The destroyer was created by a secret division of the Imperial fleet known as the Ascendant Order, a covert faction within the Empire dedicated to advancing experimental technology. The Ascendant Order's mandate is to push the boundaries of science and engineering, incorporating alien technology and next-gen weaponry into their designs. This particular destroyer is one of their latest prototypes, built as part of a classified project codenamed Eclipse, aimed at developing highly advanced warships capable of overwhelming any resistance with superior speed, stealth, and firepower. This Eclipse-class destroyer is the first of its kind, a hybrid vessel integrating experimental energy sources, advanced AI systems, and alien tech scavenged from the outer regions of known space. The project was meant to be the Empire's ace in the hole, an unstoppable force that would solidify their dominance in the known universe. However, it has been mothballed for unknown reasons, perhaps due to an unfixable technical flaw, is my guess. The reason is not listed. The corridors echo with the thunder of approaching guards. The crew can hear the heavy boots closing in fast. Meanwhile, in the engine room, Kyle frantically works at the control panel, his fingers flying across the screens. "Found it!" he screams as he bypasses the auxiliary power. The destroyer systems spark and sputter, resisting his attempt to awaken the ship. Come on, he mutters to himself with beads of sweat dripping down his face. Finally, with a loud hum, the ship's main power core flickers to life. Kale's face lights up as he watches the energy readings spike. Main power's online. He yells into the comm, "Blitz, you've got full power to the engines, buddy. Do what you do best." Up on the bridge, Blitz, with his focus razor sharp and hands gliding over the controls as the ship's systems begin to respond. The engines start to roar, their deep vibrations shaking the entire vessel. The ship starts to hum with raw power. The vibrations throughout the ship made it feel as if the ship itself was ready for the power to be unleashed, lunging forward just to reset itself, repeating its movements, like a prize bull sitting in the chute gate, bouncing with enthusiasm, waiting on the rider's signal to be released. Zara orders, "To the bridge. This thing's about to take off." Just as they reach the bridge, a deafening roar fills the ship. The destroyer lurches forward with a violent jolt, tearing itself free from the station's docking clamps. The force nearly knocks the crew off their feet as Blitz pulls the ship away from the station with surgical precision. The ship disengages from the station with a loud screech, leaving the guards behind in a flurry of panic as they are sucked into space as the hatch rips to pieces right before them. However, the station's weapons are primed, and as the destroyer pulls away, it opens fire. One final desperate salvo. Bright bolts of energy streak toward the ship. The volley was intense. Inside the bridge, the crew braces for impact, taking the salvo point blank. The shields flare as they absorb the full force of the barrage, shaking the ship violently. For a moment, it feels like the destroyer might buckle under the pressure, but then something unexpected happened. The shields absorbed the damage and redirected the energy to the power core, amplifying the output to the engines and dramatically boosting the destroyer's acceleration to neck-breaking speeds. The station, now powerless without its stolen energy pod, was unable to recharge their weapons. Blitz lets out a breath, his hand steadying on the controls. A grin spreads across his face, the advanced tech of the destroyer proving its worth. "Nice try," he mutters, his grin widening as he navigates the ship through the vast emptiness of space. The crew takes a collective breath as the station shrinks behind them. They've done it. They've stolen the energy pod, escaped with their lives, and with a bonus. They have hijacked one of the most advanced ships in the known universe. As the destroyer cruises into the void, Zara's voice cuts through the stillness. We're clear, but this isn't over yet. Blitz smirks with his eyes on the stars ahead. Nope, you know the Empire's not going to take kindly to us stealing this ship. Unlike the energy pod, this is more than just tech. They'll come looking for it, and for us. Zara glanced at the crew, knowing they all felt the same looming threat. We've just made ourselves the most wanted outlaws in the galaxy. Rain, with a smirk on her face, replies, that makes us stellar outlaws in my book. This is not goodbye, nor the end. Until the story continues, my friends. B.N.Rocker.